In a stunning escalation of the widening Middle East conflict, the United States has ordered the first mandatory evacuation of embassy personnel in Saudi Arabia since the war began. The decision came after a series of Iranian strikes across the region, attacks that are now reaching some of Washington's most sensitive diplomatic and intelligence facilities. According to the United States Department of State, non-essential American embassy staff and their families have been ordered to leave Saudi Arabia immediately due to rising security threats. For weeks, U.S. officials had only allowed voluntary departures. Now, the situation has changed. Washington is pulling personnel out, a sign that the threat level has reached a new and alarming stage. The evacuation comes as Iran intensifies retaliation following joint military strikes by the United States and Israel against Iranian targets. Those attacks triggered a chain reaction across the region, and now Iran appears to be expanding its response. According to emerging reports, Iranian drones and missiles have begun targeting sites connected to the United States and its allies across the Gulf. In the Saudi capital of Riyadh, explosions were reported near the U.S. embassy complex. Officials say drones struck the diplomatic complex, causing structural damage and forcing personnel to shelter in place. Two sources familiar with the incident told reporters that one of the drones may have struck facilities connected to the Central Intelligence Agency station housed inside the embassy complex. If confirmed, it would represent a major symbolic strike, targeting not just a diplomatic facility, but one of the United States' key intelligence hubs in the region. According to internal alerts cited in reports, the impact partially collapsed sections of the embassy roof and filled parts of the compound with smoke. Emergency procedures were immediately activated. Staff were ordered into secure areas as the compound assessed the damage. Neither Washington nor Saudi Arabia has publicly confirmed the full extent of the strike, but the decision to evacuate non-essential personnel suggests officials are preparing for further attacks. The strike in Saudi Arabia is only part of a wider campaign. Similar drone attacks have reportedly hit American diplomatic facilities in Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates. Iran appears to be widening its response across the Gulf, targeting countries that host major U.S. military installations. These nations form the backbone of America's strategic presence in the Middle East, and now they are being drawn directly into the conflict. The Gulf region hosts some of the most important American bases outside the United States. For example, Al Udeid Air Base serves as the largest U.S. military installation in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Bahrain hosts the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet. Together, these facilities coordinate American military operations across the region. But as Iranian strikes increase, those bases and the diplomatic missions surrounding them may now face growing danger. Saudi authorities have also confirmed casualties from recent attacks. Officials said that a projectile landed in the province of Al-Kharj, killing 2 people and injuring at least 12 others. While details remain limited, the incident has intensified fears that the conflict could spread further across the kingdom. For years, Saudi Arabia has been a critical U.S. partner in the Middle East. The country hosts American personnel, military equipment, and intelligence operations. Now, it is increasingly being pulled into the expanding confrontation between the United States and Iran. The current crisis erupted after large-scale U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iranian targets last month. Tehran has vowed to respond with what it calls forceful retaliation against American and Israeli interests across the region. Since then, a wave of missile launches, drone strikes, and military confrontations has unfolded across multiple fronts. From the skies above Israel to U.S. installations in the Gulf, the conflict is rapidly expanding. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that the confrontation could last for weeks. Military analysts say the evacuation order signals Washington is preparing for the possibility of sustained attacks on its diplomatic and military network. Removing non-essential staff reduces the risk of civilian casualties if further strikes occur, but it also sends a powerful signal. When embassies begin evacuating personnel, it often means officials believe the situation could deteriorate quickly. For now, American diplomats, intelligence officers, and military planners are closely monitoring the situation. But the latest developments suggest the conflict may be entering one of its most dangerous phases yet. Iran appears willing to strike deeper into the network of American allies and facilities across the Middle East, and the United States is now taking defensive steps to protect its personnel. The evacuation of embassy staff in Saudi Arabia marks a dramatic moment in the unfolding crisis. It shows how rapidly the battlefield is expanding and how fragile the region's security landscape has become. As drones, missiles, and retaliatory strikes continue across the Gulf, the world is watching closely, because the next move in this escalating conflict could determine whether the crisis remains contained or erupts into a far larger regional war.
The shockwaves of Iran war may now be reaching Europe. A loud explosion was heard near the embassy of the United States in Oslo, Norway. Eyewitnesses said smoke rose from the area. The blast took place at 1 a.m. local time. According to the Oslo Police Department, it was not immediately clear what caused the blast or who was involved. Oslo police, in a statement, said that they are in a dialogue with the embassy and there are no reports of any injured persons. The incident sparked fears of an attack amid the ongoing Iran conflict. However, no established link to Iran has been found yet, while tensions continue to simmer in the Middle East. Police spokesperson Mikael Delameyer told public broadcaster NRK that blast occurred at the entrance to the consular section. Videos from outside the embassy shared online showed security personnel rushing to the spot. Officials in tactical gear were seen trying to control the area. One law enforcement personnel could be seen trying to look through what appeared to be the boundary of the embassy. Another appeared to try and control the traffic movement in the area. The explosion in Oslo has come at a time when U.S. missions in several Middle East countries have been targeted by Iran amid the ongoing war with the U.S. and Israel. U.S. embassies have been placed on high alert in the Middle East. However, whether the Oslo incident is linked to the conflict or not is not yet clear. As of now, the Oslo police gave no indication the incident near the U.S. embassy was connected to the Iran conflict. Remember, after the joint U.S. and Israel strikes killed Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei, the Islamic Republic has been bombing neighbors in the Middle East who host U.S. bases. But as missiles fly in the Middle East and a blast rocks a U.S. embassy in Europe, the fear is growing that this war may no longer be confined to one region.